wisdom. Student enrollment, that's what the class of God students enrolling. Supreme wisdom, I study it hard. The study of myself is the study of God. Supreme wisdom, write your letter, get your X. Supreme wisdom, that's what you'll be getting next. Supreme wisdom, some call it the lessons, but I call it life, actual facts, no guessing.
Neuromelanin. It says neuromelanin, or NM, is a what? I know you probably can't see this because I was like, I have
It's a dark pigment found in the brain.
It's a what?
Dark pigment.
Found in the brain. So you have a neuromelanin, which is a dark pigment. So the color still matters because it's a dark pigment, but it's found in your brain. It says, which is structurally related to melanin, which we're talking about the U melanin, the other melanin, and the U melanin, and the pheomelanin, which is called peripheral melanin. But it says neuromelanin gives specific brain sections, such as the substantia nigra, or the locus coeruleus, I'm just gonna say that. It says, but it gives these two areas of the brain a distinct color. So even though this melanin is not even seen, it causes your certain parts of your brain to take on a unique color. Check this out. It says it is the type of melanin and is similar to other forms of peripheral melanin, which would U melanin and pheomelanin. And it says it is called neuromelanin because of its function and the color that appears in tissue containing it. It contains black and brown pigmented granules. So you even have what two types of color? Black and brown melanin in your brain.
Right.
So the melanin, not only does it deal with the skin, but the message said what was the mental and physical power of a real devil. The real devil. So there's even a difference between what we think is the devil and the real devil. But it's even telling you, in your brain, there is black and brown melanin that's responsible for the color of your brain. It says neuromelanin is found to accumulate during aging and is found during the first 2 to 3 years of life. It is believed to protect neurons in the substantia nigra from iron-induced oxidative stress. Now, go back to last week. We dealt with steel, which was an alloy, which is a fancy term for mixture of what two elements? Carbon and iron. Iron is white. Carbon is black, right? And we said that iron was the part that made steel magnetic because iron is a magnet. It's magnetic. So the attracting force comes from the white part of the steel. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say when the sperm and the egg meet, do you have that in?
No, I don't.
Well, what happens is there's an explosion of melanin that occurs, and you know the brain is actually first thing that begin to, neurological system. Those cells, they differentiate into brain cells, and so just saying that melanin is involved in the process of actual procreation itself.
Right. And so here we were, even some of us in the nation, we thought that the message was being racist when he said that we call him a red Indian. You have a yellow man, you have a black man, you have a white man. Don't call me white. Don't call me black. I ain't no black man. Your people can say, your melanin tell you you black.
And locus coeruleus, or how you pronounce the last part, is actually Latin. It means black dot.
He looked it up. Bam, means black dot. So, messages say that the original man has original brain,
That's right.
but the devil has graphic brain.
Right.
So is it possible that the brain he was talking about was actually this neuromelanin? And the reason I came across this, they said that neuromelanin is being looked into as in Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's.
Right.
It's not. It's either Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. It's Parkinson's. They were saying that neuromelanin. They're looking at this neuromelanin in treatment for Parkinson's because they said neuromelanin actually protects negative stimuli in the brain. What did the messages say we do to our children when we lie to them at young ages?
We brain
We brain
cells.
The brain cells, we're playing the brain cells against the grain. We're doing neurological damage to our children when we tell lies. But it says neuromelanin actually protects the brain cells from negative stimuli. Is it a lie? Negative stimuli?
Right.
So is it possible that even neuromelanin can protect you from being susceptible to lies that negatively affect the brain? So teaches the Mosque Muhammad.
Well, another thing I would like to.
But then I also thought that was interesting. Actually, it protects your oxidation in the brain, like rusting, right? We said what the poison and what rusty locks.
That's right.
It says iron-induced oxidative stress.
Right.
When in science, when we say oxidization, right? If iron oxidizes, that's a fancy way of saying rust. This is talking about rusting in the brain.
And iron is just blood.
Yep, and you have iron in your blood. So this is talking about neuromelanin protects rusting of the brain cells.
Yeah.
But here's a picture of the actual neuromelanin. This is a neuron, and these little bubbles right here, those are actually the neuromelanin, the pigmentation in the brain.
That's okay.
And it's black and brown, they ain't white. All right. And we said going back, brown includes what colors? The colors between red and yellow. So even red and yellow is there. But the white is not. Why? Now, going back to what I was just saying. So even in the saying that this neuromelanin protects you against, I'm putting it in my words, rusting of the brain cells, right? But the messenger said that of the white man, this white race, he said there was no good taught to them while on the island by teaching the nurses to kill the black babies and save the brown babies so as to graft the white out of it by lying to the mother of the baby. We said lying is negative stimuli, right?
Right.
And we have something in our bodies that can protect us from that. But it says by lying to the black mothers of the baby, this lie was born into the very nature of the white baby. And murder for the black people also born of them, or made by nature a liar and murderer. Is it possible that these people who lack this melanin throughout their body could be more susceptible to lying and deviant behavior?
They are.
Because they don't have the protection? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, I wanted to say two things. There's research that shows that actual telling lies to a child actually does brain damage. I have to research.
Please bring that.
So, two, and the one thing I want to do about say about the isolation, when we saw the original people that produced the albino, the nature of that child was just like the nature of any other original. But what causes that to be the case is that Yaqub, he was exiled to an island, and that you have to have it in isolation. And then the culture,
that's the only way you're gonna be able to produce a bunch of people like that.
The bunch of people like that. That's the only
Once
way.
they are born, you have to put them off to the side and say we only.
That's why it says separate.
That's right, or segregate.
Or segregate. So then, what you do is that you make a culture, you make a social system of tricks and lies. That's what tricknology is. It's tricks. Is not you have to know the truth to tell a lie. So you make a social system, and that social system, and along with the supporting literature, is the thing that produced the nature.
That's right.
The wickedness,
right.
You know, and then not last week, but the week before last, you said, who is the colored man? The colored man is the Caucasian white man, which comes from a specific place, or Yaqub's grafted devil. Those are two different colored people.
So it's saying, so is it possible that they were already colored people? They were already white people, but it's a specific difference between, because we already knew there was white people all up inside us the whole time, right? They could be a little bit black and brown, but you know,
they couldn't sustain themselves over a long period of time because they carried the gene in them probably some way.
It would take you to isolate. You would have to have 4 children, or the probability of 25% versus 75. You would have 75% you have dark cloud, 25%. So in order to get this probability to increase, you have to isolate it, right? When you talk about probability, you're not talking about 4 children, but like if 4 is your number. For every 4 children you have, only one of them will be light. And so if you want them to, their offspring to be light, you have to find somebody else light.
And more
And the
likely,
only way
they
to
just
do that is
marry
isolate them,
somebody
because they're
else.
outnumbered. The
Yeah.
message just says that the original man outnumbers the devil
11
to 1. Right? Isn't that outnumbering that recessive, those dominant expressions are outnumbering their recessive expressions?
Supreme wisdom, some call it the lessons, but I call it life, actual facts, no guessing.